Hello, welcome to day one of the Self-Talk Awareness Challenge. I'm so glad you're here. So glad you took this opportunity to basically look under the hood and see exactly what we're saying to ourselves and be able to build a stronger foundation, because so much of the way we talk to ourselves is directly related to the outcomes we experience in life. Without first understanding the way that we're talking to ourselves and whether or not we are supportive of our own journey and whether or not we are forgiving when we make mistakes, whether or not we are kind to ourselves, sometimes we talk to ourselves in a way we would never allow anybody else to speak to us, or especially anybody that we loved. And so I always like to pretend that this is somebody else that we're talking to when we hear these thoughts, and imagine if you would tolerate it. And so oftentimes you would not. And maybe there's some positive self-talk in there too. And so we want to find that and bring it more up, just really boost that up even more. So I think with this journey, what you're going to find after these 5 days is you will be more aware of it. It's a little bit like once you see it, you can't not see it. So once you start listening to yourself, you will always hear it. And especially the things that we really pull out this week, you'll hear it when it comes back up and you'll be able to make a different decision about it. And so one thing we really want to make sure we're doing throughout this challenge is watching how much we judge ourselves or critique ourselves or put ourselves down, or how often we excuse ourselves or create justifications for ourselves. Sometimes it's not always negative self-talk we have to watch out for. Sometimes it's that kind of self-talk that lets us off the hook and that allows us to just continue to blame somebody else for the things that are happening in our lives, or find some reason or excuse, or in other words, outsource the problems to the external world instead of taking ownership. And so all of that is up for grabs as we're learning and practicing in this growth, in this program. I do want to tell you that we have a community space. It is open to everybody. I encourage you to use it. For each day, you're going to have a few different levels of challenge. And part of that challenge is participating in the community, because I do believe that when we're doing this kind of work on our own, that's valuable. But when we do it in community, it's just exponential, because the first thing we learn is that we are not alone, that we all struggle with this. Let me tell you how much I struggled with this, just setting up this challenge, and some of the mistakes and errors and issues we had just getting it off and running. So I already went through my self-talk awareness over this last week or so, and I will be continuing it along with you as well. So welcome to day one. So glad you're here. And today we just want to become aware of how much we are talking to ourselves and how much that dialogue is ongoing, and so much of it is unconscious. I always like to imagine that at the end of a day, we'd get like a ticker tape, like an old-fashioned, like a receipt essentially, of all of the activity in our mind and all the things that we said and all the inner dialogues we went through and all the stories we replayed and all the memories that came up and that we went down and probably changed up a little bit to make ourselves look a little better, or maybe to make ourselves look worse, depending on how we tend to approach our relationship with ourselves. So this ticker tape would show up at the end of the day, and I just feel like it would be printing for hours and hours. And I think we'd just simply be shocked at how much is on there and how much has happened in the course of a day. And I have a feeling a lot of it would be things that we didn't even know that were happening. So imagine how many times you're limiting your own growth and your own potential, your own opportunities, just because it got stopped at the self-talk level, just because we talked ourselves out of it here before we even had a chance to try it out. And so much of our lives actually is unconscious routines and patterns and grooves that we just follow. And then we wonder why things don't change, or why We tend to fall into the same kinds of relationships or the same kinds of issues at work, or why we can't seem to drink more water when we say that we want to, and some of those things. A lot of it is the self-talk about what we deserve and that we belong and that we have value and that we have worth. And these are things that we can build up too. But first things first, we have to see what's already happening. We can't change what we won't look at. And so I anticipate that some of what comes up for you this week is a little bit cringy, a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit hard to look at. That's okay. Let's just look at it. Let's be brave together. Good news is once we become more aware of our self-talk, it starts to change almost on its own. I think about it like this. I think about a group of children playing in a room unsupervised and the kinds of trouble that they get into. And then I imagine an adult just in the room, maybe not even doing anything, but simply observing. It's going to moderate the room. Maybe not forever, maybe not for hours, but at least for a while. There's something about that adult presence in the room that brings this moderation and awareness, heightened awareness to everything and everyone in the room. That's what we're going to do with our minds. We're going to go and we're going to be that adult that sits, and we're going to see our emotions, we're going to see our thoughts and our beliefs, and what we're focusing on here, our self-talk. And so there's just already something that happens by just saying, I'm going to start paying attention to this. I'm not going to continue to let it happen without me knowing it. I am deserving of positive self-talk. I am worth inner dialogue that is positive and sustains me and supports me. I am worthy of a relationship with myself that is strong and supportive and feels good. That's what we're here for, is to remember that we are worthy of an inner relationship with ourselves that is positive and that propels us forward and that is forgiving and is compassionate and is also encouraging and holds us accountable. All of these things. We're not going to go too far yin where everything is okay and we never hold ourselves accountable. And we don't want to go too far yang where everything is harsh and disciplined and punishing. Let's find that middle place here where we can be accountable, where we can be responsible, where we can be conscious and we can be compassionate and we can be kind and we can be patient to ourselves. If we can do this for ourselves, imagine how much easier it will be to be that person for others. It just works outward naturally. So today's challenge is really simple. We're just going to start noticing our inner dialogue. That's it. Just bringing awareness to it, just listening for it. And this is what you're going to do throughout the entire week. But just baseline today, get your journal out and start writing down the things that you notice. Have it with you at all times, even in the grocery store, and notice what happens and what you say to yourself anytime it comes up. Write it down. Try not to change it up in the process of writing. Try to keep it as clear as you heard it. I hope that your pages are filled by the end of the day, and especially by the end of the 5 days. And then what we're going to notice at the end of the day, take a little accounting. This is our ticker tape. This is our receipt as best as we can do it. And let's start seeing what patterns you notice. I'd like you to take those patterns, write them down. I notice that when something isn't going the way that I want it to, I blank. I notice that when I am successful, I tell myself blank. I notice that when I forget to do something or that I forget why I came into a room, I immediately start calling myself names. Become aware of these things and as much as you're comfortable, share some of this stuff in our community space. You will be surprised at how many people feel the same way. We are a human animal. We are not perfect. We are strange and quirky. So we're just going to keep. There is now also a meditation that goes with today's talk. I hope you enjoy it. It is also yours to come back to whenever you'd like. Feel free to reach out to me via the community space or my email address, which is just carriemangus@gmail.com. Have so much fun with this. Be light about it. Be kind about it. Have some fun with it. Feel free to laugh rather than, you can roll your eyes too. I probably will along with you as I do my own work. So let's have some fun, and off we go.